Good morning! Hi cubies and newbies. I am Sunshine, and this is the ABCube method for solving Rubik's Cubes. Works on every complexity cube. Only two patterns to memorize. Formula A is 4 moves, Formula B is 8 moves. And with those two patterns, you can solve every complexity Rubik's Cube, return it to its original color state. It works on every complexity Rubik's Cube, works on every complexity Minx, and it also works on pyramids. So it does not work on all twisty puzzles. I have not been able to tame some of the shapeshifters. The square one still evades me, but it does work on all of these, and it can be learned. It's the easiest one to learn. It's not a speed solve method, not a shortest moves method, but it's a muscle memory method. So every cube, no matter what it looks, no matter which complexity it is, they all have 8 corners. So we start with the 8 corners, and when you've done the corners, then we don't have to. You can do it in whatever order you want. There's no real order of operation on a cube like there is on a Minx. For the Minxes, you have to do the star parts before the non-star parts. But all of them have the 8 corners. So once you've done the 8 corners, the 2x2 is done, and every other cube now has. We've established what is the correct color for each face, and so each piece from this point forward now has a correct place to go, and so the reductionist method is no longer necessary. So we've done the corners on all of them, and then yesterday I did the opposite edges. So the yellows and their opposites, corners and edges, are done. Okay. On most color cubes, the opposite of yellow is going to be white, but on the void cube, it's not standardized colors. Opposite yellow is actually red for the void cube, and it has a purple in there thrown in, and no white ever. So every cube, you just have to pay attention to what the colors are. So we've done the corners, and that's for, like I said, Formula A brings a piece to the top, Formula B moves 3 pieces around, and that's all you need to do. And then to do the opposite edges, you hold the cube with the yellow and white you've been paying attention to. We're going to keep using the yellow and white. We're going to have them left and right. We move the corners, the edge pieces, from the middle to the sides, from the middle top to the sides, from the front top to the front sides. Okay, so we did that for the opposite edges. We're going to keep working with edges. Now today we're going to put the white side face down, and we're going to continue working on the edges. We're going to do all the side edges, the middle band for them. And here is where, if there is a parity on your cube, it's going to show up. But parities are a lie. You don't have to deal with them if you don't want to. So you can memorize all the parity algorithms you want, but you don't need them. Every parity is caused by the same thing and can be undone by the exact same thing. Hey! Good morning. Thank you for joining me, you guys. Who else here? Nobody was with me yesterday. That's okay. I apologize for the technical difficulties I had the day before. My computer was confused. Okay, so corners are done. Opposite edges are done. Now we're going to work on the side edges. That's going to finish the 3x3 and the void cube. And the rest of them we'll still have centers to do. So we've been working with yellow and white. I'm going to continue working with yellow, so my white goes face down. And we've already established that Formula B moves a piece from the top front to the side front. So we're going to do that. Before I do that, I'm going to line up my absolute center if I have one. Not all of them do. This one, I can't line up the absolute center, I don't see it. These ones, I can't line up the absolute center, I don't see them. This one I can. There we go. Okay, and this one I can. The absolute center is blue here, move it in between the blue sides. Okay, So, all right. Anyone have any? Feel free to interrupt me with any questions you have. In the meantime, I'm just going to play. Okay, so yellow's on top, white is face down. And white being face down is now, if for the larger cubes, the white is a visual clue for which columns I'm working on if I get distracted mid formula. Like the cat jumps on my table, or I drop it, or I get a phone call. So white is face down, and white's going to be face down until all the edges are solved, which is the cube, the cage method being solved. So white's face down. I'm looking at the sides, find a piece that's incorrect, and I'm going to displace this piece out to the top. Let me demonstrate what Formula B does. Okay, I did if you do the top row on the outside corners, outside columns, it moves the corners around. Top row and an outside column and inside column, and it's going to move the edges around. So first column is where you want it to land. Second column is where it begins, and that moved this piece to here, and this piece to here, and this piece to here. So Formula B always moves 3 pieces around. So if I want to move this piece over to here, Formula B will do it. So I'm going to displace this piece, so I'm going to move a piece into this spot, slide up, slide down, and my white is going to stay face down, like I said, till the edges are done. And this yellow is going to go bip-bop back and forth, while this yellow that I've displaced will eventually find its way back to the top. Okay, so in the meantime, with white face down, I look for the piece on top that's not yellow, that's not the top color, and I'm going to place that singly over and over again. So I hold the top row, rotate the entirety of the cube until the corners match the front, including the absolute center if you have one, and then the color on top determines which direction it's going to be. So the red and blue will land above the red and blue something corner, not above the red and green something corner. So this is going in this direction. So top row, first column, second column. Slide up, slide down, slide down. And again, the white's there as a visual reference. Find a piece on top that's not the top color. Corners match the front. Going in this direction. Up, down, down. And just keep going. Corners match the front. It's going in this direction. Up. And we're going to keep doing this until the yellow comes back to the top. Correct or incorrect doesn't matter as long as it comes back to the top. When it comes back to the top layer, not face, then we reassess. So we're like, okay, well, let's set the top. Let's see what we're doing. This one's done. This one's correct. This one's not correct. So we'll finish. We need to still work on this one. Hello, hey, school bus. So corners match the front, rotate the piece that wants to come in there. We're going to move this incorrect piece into this correct piece. Hi, school bus. Up, down, down. Okay, and then the piece on top that's not yellow, we bring it back to the front, and we place it correctly. Please. Okay, school bus wants to zoom. However, only if it's a common consensus. Only if other people want to, because I've got. If you want just one-on-one, maybe you and I can figure that out off time. But other than that, I'm only going to Zoom when we've got a consensus of people who want to Zoom. So I'm not set up for it today because of the technical difficulties. One-on-one, okay. Send me an email. I'm abcube.how@gmail.com, and we'll see what we can work out. Okay. All right. So I've done that for this one. We do that for every cube. We treat every cube the exact same way. So again, yellow is on top. We're going to work on the side corners. Find a piece on top. Find a side piece that's not correct. Okay. And we're going to displace the yellow into that side piece. Up, down, down. Okay, and then we look for the piece on top that's not yellow. Okay, corners match the front. It's going in this direction. up, up, down, down. Corners match the front. Over here, up, up, down, down. And yellow found its way back to the top, so we reassess. This piece is correct, this piece is not. So we find a piece that's not, and we're going to throw a yellow piece into the piece that's not correct. Okay, it's better to throw an incorrect yellow piece than a correct yellow piece, so I'm going to put this piece in here. So, formula B, B as written, moves from the top front to the left front. The mirror of each motion moves it to the other side. And again, so it's one row, one column, one row, two columns. First is where it's going to land. Second is where it began. Okay. Find a piece on top that's not yellow. Your corners match the front. It's going in this direction. Now, when we're doing the side edges, if we cannot see if the absolute center is correct or not, that's when we can run into a parity. But like I said, a parity is a lie, and we can play with them all we want if they're fun. If they're not fun, we can just swipe them away and not worry about them. Okay, so yellow came back to the top, so we assess the sides. They are correct. So no parity on this one. Okay. But like I said, every cube is done the exact same way. So we're going to continue doing this on this one. So opposite edges are done. That's the yellow and white. And then with the yellow on top, we're going to displace a piece that's incorrect. So we find a piece over here that's incorrect. Find a piece on the sides that are incorrect. Displace the yellow piece into it. And then the piece that's not yellow, we're going to place one piece at a time. Corners match the front. It's going in the blue direction. Up, up, down, down. And we're just moving one piece at a time. We don't, if you've been trained in the reductionist method, you're taught to find an edge piece, pair them up, and then treat them as one piece, as if it's a 3x3. That actually increases your probability of a parity, minutely, but it does. Corners match the front, and then it's going in this direction. And so, if they're automatically paired up, then you can keep them automatically paired up for as long as it's convenient. But if you keep them together, then you're more likely to run into either a parity or a false parity. So when you get to where it looks like a parity, separate your pieces and treat them individually, and they will form again. The parity will usually disappear. Up, up, down, down. Just pretend they're not. Okay, yellow came back to the top, so I set it and we look. Okay, this one's correct, this one's not. As far as we need to go, we just need to find a piece that's incorrect and toss it. Up, up, down, down. There it is. Find a piece on top that's not yellow. Corners match the front. It's going in this direction, and it's formula B again. One row, two columns. Okay. Find a piece on top. Corners match the front. It's going in this direction. Up, up, down, down. Do, 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 do. If you've just joined me, thank you for joining me. Hi, I'm Sunshine. I like to play with cubes. This is the ABCube method for solving Rubik's cubes. It's not speed solve, it's not fewest moves, but it's the easiest way to learn that works on every complexity cube. Also every minx, also every pyramid. Actually, I should not say every pyramid yet, because the only one I've tried it on so far is this one. I've got to order some larger ones in order to figure that out. So corners match the front. It's going in this direction. And we keep just placing from the top to the side until the yellow comes back to the top. And as long as it's the top layer, we reassess. So these sides are correct, these sides are correct, these sides are correct, these sides are correct. These ones, okay, and now they're back to the yellow, but they're not in the correct place. this is what we call a parity. And yay, if we didn't have one, I have one set up over here so I can demonstrate it. So I'm going to come back to this. I'm going to work on these other cubes to get them to the side edges done. When you use this method, if you have a parity, it's always going to end up on the top and on the same layer. But if you'd use other methods, the parity can look in lots of different ways. There is a very loud oh, that is my air conditioner. Thank you for telling me. Hold on one second, I'll turn it off. Thank you. I was not aware that was being picked up. So thank you for letting me know. I should probably go delete some of my YouTube videos then. Alright, so as far as zooming, I'll zoom that if there's a consensus. If a lot of people want to zoom, we'll zoom. Otherwise, we're going to save that till Friday or Saturday or one-on-one off time and schedule our own time, just you and me. So, yellow came back to the top. This one has parity. We're going to save that. We're going to do all the parities at once if we can, if we have a parity. Okay, so white's down, and I'm checking the sides. And for the 4x4, I only did one column at a time. For the larger cubes, you can do one column at a time, or you can go as far as displacing to the center but not beyond. And so that's what we're going to do. So up, we're displacing the sides because they're not correct. So that's move these yellow pieces down. Again, these yellows are going to bop back and forth as I move these pieces. Okay, so red, corners match the front. It's going in the green direction. First column, second column. Up, up, down, down. Okay, and another one. Corners to match the front. Again, this is not a speed solve or a fewest moves method. It's lousy with regrips, but it's the easiest one to learn that works on every complexity Rubik's type cube. So it's it's not a reductions method. It's the only original placement method that. And it's actually mentioned on Wikipedia if you go to the Professor's Cube page. The Professor's Cube is what we used to call the 5x5x5 cube. And it's one of the solutions listed on there because it is a standalone solution. In other words, you don't have to learn the 3x3 and then learn more things to then do the 4x4 and then more things, etc. Just the A and B does it all. Okay. And here we go. These ones are they're paired. So let's see whether it's convenient. I can keep them paired. And that brought the yellow back to the top. So we reassess. These ones are correct. This one's not. So we have to keep working. So we're going to displace this one with a yellow. Okay. Away up, in, and then the one that we want to displace dictates what the second column there is. Corners match the front. It's going in this direction. Up, up, down, down. Here we go. Corners match the front. Blue. Up, up, down, down. Okay, corners match the front. There we go. It's going in this direction. And this is really just a lather, rinse, repeat. More of the same. It's the same thing over and over again, which makes it very easy to memorize because you don't have to memorize hundreds of algorithms and when to use which algorithm for which thing, in which order to do the algorithms, etc. So yellow's back to the top, so we assess. These two are correct, this one's not, so we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going until the sides are correct, and then we either will or will not have a parity on top. It's really a flip of the coin. So, up, up, down, down. But the thing is that because we're going outside in, when we find a parity, we can just swipe it away with a single quarter turn. We don't have to use. I've been told the parity algorithm takes about 10 seconds. So just by reversing the order of operations, by doing the centers last instead of first, you've saved 10 seconds every time you would get a parity. So if you're a speed cuber, I would think that doing the centers last instead of first will save you in the possibility of the parity. So yellow came back to the top, so we check. These ones are correct, these ones are correct, these ones are correct. So both of these have a parity. Awesome. Before I do that, I'm going to finish my side edge here. White goes down, yellow on top. I'm looking, this one is correct. This one is not, so I'm going to displace up, up, down, down, and the piece on top that's not yellow is red. Bring it so the corners match the front. It's going in the blue direction. Up, up, down, down, and I'll do this until my yellow comes back to the top. So corners to match the front, and we're only looking at the middle one here. It's going in the red direction. Up, up, down, down, and then the orange. Corners match the front, determine its direction. Up, up, down, down. Oh, I love it. This is a Whittington 3x3x9. You see, it looks freaking annoying. It's one of my favorites because it actually makes me think. Okay, so piece on top that's not yellow, green. Bring the corners to match the front. Whoops. Yeah, bring the corners to match the front. And then it goes in the red direction. Nope, that's the yellow. This is the red direction. Up, up, down, down. And we got to keep going until there's no more yellow on the side. So orange into the blue side. And yellow came back to the top. So now we can set the top. So the top, the outside edges are done, and the absolute center is done. Okay, so we're going to set that aside now. Like I said, this can also be solved with just the ABCube method. There's one minor detail, one adaptation. For the A and B does this back and forth, and then you work with the centers. If I do that, I can't access my things. So when I get to this point where I have to access the 9 by side, Formula B, instead of going left and right, is 2 moves, and then whatever the column I want, and then 2 moves, and then the other column I want. So that's the only adaptation, is they have to do it twice instead of once. Other than that, Formula B solves this one just as easily as these other ones. It just has extra steps. So, all right, so now a parity. They both have a parity, so we're going to show you what to do. There's 2 ways to do it. I mean, well, not really. It's the same thing on both of them, but I'm going to show you what to do. So if I want to keep my yellow on top and be not color neutral, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this parity and I'm going to move it to the side. So that I'm going to do Formula B, move this piece down to the side, which is going to place this one correctly. And where this lands, where this piece lands, that is the column that is a quarter turn off. So this column, then I turn a quarter turn, 1/4 turn. And I've just undone the parity. That single quarter turn undoes the parity. So then I'm just going to follow this piece along. Corners match the front, determine its direction, and then more Formula B's. You probably have an algorithm to set those side edges, but I use Formula A and B. And when my yellow comes back to the top again, the parity has disappeared. Corners to match the front, determine its direction. Okay. Corners to match the front, determine its direction. First column, second column. If you want a challenge, I definitely recommend the Whittington 3x9. Little story time here. The Whittington, I got it, so I had it looked fun. It looked like it would be a challenge, so I got it, and I could not solve it. I could not solve it. I spent literally a month looking at different people's YouTube videos, different tutorials, and just a different person every day for a month trying to figure out how to do it. And the closest that I got was, here is this long algorithm, and this algorithm is going to do this and this and this and this. Keeping the stick. This one is old, and so this sticker does come off. The green one in the middle does come off a little bit, and this one is tearing away. It's old. The second one I got, this is version 1. Version 2, the yellows and white centers are also 3 rows. So this is version 1. So that's a little bit extra step, but they're like, this is what the algorithm is going to do. So hold your cube, so that's advantageous. Do the algorithm and then reset your cube and see what to do next. And I'm just like, I am not smart enough to do this. And so I set it aside. And then I had the flash of inspiration, so I picked up my large cube, a 7x, and said, I'm going to pretend that I can't move my yellows or whites. What happens to my yellow or whites what happens if I use Formula B without doing that? And that's where I came up with the double turn, the adaptation double turn. And when I was able to see by using it on a solved cube, I was able to do my Formula B and see what it did, and then I mastered this overnight. Once I applied Formula B to it, once I realized I could apply Formula B to it. Okay, so that parity, I did that by displacing the parity down to the side and solving it. If I want to be color neutral, then instead, what I'm going to do is this parity right here, I'm just going to move that parity to the front. Now orange is my top. And then the line that touches the parity, the slice that touches the parity, is the one that's a quarter turn off. Make a single quarter turn in either direction. And on this slice, what was 2 correct and 2 incorrect is now 1 correct and 3 incorrect. And Formula B will fix that. Or whatever parity, whatever algorithm you know. So I just work with orange being the top. And I continue with Formula B. And that single quarter turn undid the parity. So we don't have to play with parities unless you want to. Okay? And when you solve the edges in that orientation, the parity has poof disappeared. So I know your parity algorithm only takes you like 10 seconds or whatever at the end, but if you do your centers last instead of first, then when you see the parity, a single quarter turn slices it away, and you've just saved almost 10 seconds just by doing that. So now that the parity is gone, that's the opposite edge is done. So the next thing to do for these is the centers. Okay, and again, it's Formula B, moves the centers around. For this one is another extra step. I'm going to actually put my left and right, yellow and white left and right again, and I'm going to use be adapted to set the edges on the left side, and when I do, the edges on the right side will either magically solve as well or be a parity off. If they're parity off, I fix the parity on the left and do it again, and then the parity has disappeared and the edges are correct, and then I do the centers. So that's my lesson for today, but I want to keep playing. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do the centers for these ones. It's also Formula B. Everything that's not Formula A is Formula B. And all it is, now Formula A is interesting. You can do Formula A for the entirety of the first face, whether it's your first step or right here. So people who can do one side, but only one side, they're using Formula A. They're using the method where you find a piece that wants to be on top, you move it out of the way. I'm going to do it for this one. Move it out of the way, and then you bring the space down, and then you move the piece back in, and you move it back up. Okay, so that's how you do it. You find a piece that's under it and wants to go there, move it out of the way, move the space down, move the piece into the space, and the piece and space back up again. So you can do Formula A for one side, either at this stage or at the very beginner stage. These two, out, down, in, up. I don't actually teach the Formula A though, because at this point, because Formula A does affect all 6 sides. So you can only do it on one face, not all of the sides. So I'm going to pause that now. So you just find a piece, and if I pick any piece that's incorrect, hold it on your front face. The color that it's going to land on the top. So you hold the cube so that color is dictated by the cage is on top. The first horizontal is to line it up so that that's something advantageous to bring down. So this yellow is going to land right here. But this white is not going to come down here. It's going to come down here because you're not. Formula B looks like you're moving 2 pieces, but you're always moving 3. So here's Formula B. I lined up the top, and we're going to follow this piece along. So it goes to the top. I slide the top so it's in a different column, and that's where that column is my second column. And then I reverse. Every other move is the reverse. Every other horizontal is the reverse of the horizontal before it. And I go down, down, set the top as needed, and that's done. Okay. Or I can do this white. Okay. White on top. It's going to land here. That's convenient. So I go up, slide to a different column, second up, reverse, down, and set the top. Now, for the diagonals, you have to pay closer attention to which direction you're turning it than for the centers or obliques. But as long as you're just moving it to a different column, then everything's fine. So here's a green on the white face. It's going up here. I can bring down this orange or this blue or this red. So let's bring down this blue. Okay. So I go up, slide, second up, reverse down. Okay, there it is. Here's some green. Okay, I can bring down, these will land here. I can bring down orange and blue, or blue and orange, or the 2 reds. So I'm going to do the 2 reds. So I can treat this as one piece, but unless you're dealing with the possibility, sometimes you have to separate them. So treat them as one piece for as long as it's convenient, but sometimes you have to separate them, like with a parity or a faux parity. Okay, so all right. So just like I said, just pick a piece at random. Here's a white. I have to move it twice to get to the white side. So I'm just going to find a yellow or an opposite that's convenient to bring down. So first horizontal is to line it up, and then this piece up, slide, second up, reverse down, and because the edges are done, whatever color is on the bottom of the edges is there keeping me track of which columns I'm using when you get to where like you're using like a 10 by 10 cube. It can get confusing. So we'll continue following this right along. So up, up, down, down. It's at the top. So when I'm teaching this method, when I started it, it was a 3 by 3 method that also works on 4s and 5s and larger cubes. I found that the humans I was teaching would get confused when I would go from one to the. I wonder what you will do at the final center, since you don't have 2 or more incomplete centers to cycle through. Okay, hold on. Let me get to where that's going to be done. I'm going to reach that point faster here. I wonder what you'll do at the final center since you do not have 2 or more incomplete centers. You always have 3 centers. You're always moving 3 pieces around. The only time it looks like you don't have 3 is when you have a parity. So, no. So what I do, all right, I'll show you. Let me show you. Get to that point. Your formula B always moves 3 pieces around. Let me demonstrate this, okay? All right. It's easier to demonstrate here. Okay, so here is a yellow. Okay. Sorry. Here's a yellow. It's going to come here. I'm going to bring the blue piece down. Okay. Now it looks like I'm going to switch these two, but determined by which direction I go when I move into a separate column. This blue piece is not going to come down here. It's going to move either here or here, depending on which direction I move it when it gets to the top. So I'm going to move it so that this green piece comes down. So I go up, move it into the spot where this is, up, down, down. It's at the top. Okay, and so that moved 3 pieces. When it looks like, let me see here. When it looks like there's only 2 pieces, you're still moving 3 pieces, but 2 of them are the same color, so it looks like you moved 2, but really you moved 3. So let's find here, okay? I'm gonna bring down this yellow. So up, up, down, down. I'll just skip to here to show you. Okay, so I'm going to move this piece, this blue piece, to the orange side. There's a parity here, just ignore it. So up, up, down, down. Okay, so now it looks like I only have 2 pieces that need to switch. Okay. However, looks can be deceiving the same way that parity is a lie. So if I'm going to put this piece here, this piece is going to come down. But when I move this piece up here, it's not going to come down here. It's going to come down to one of these side pieces. So I'm never moving 2 pieces. I'm always moving 3, but 2 of them are going to be blue. So it looks like 3 pieces are moving. But this piece will not come here. I go up, up, down. Oops, down, down, and set the top again. And this piece did not come here. It moved to there. So these were the 3 pieces that I moved. 2 blue and an orange. So you're always moving 3. Always, always. Okay, so here's some greens. They have to move twice, so let's find some blues that want to come down. Here's a blue. I'm gonna treat this as one piece because it's got to move twice anyway, so it's just easier. So I'm gonna offset. So sometimes you do offset what you already have solved, and you're okay with that. So now these are going to come up here, up, up, down, down. I think I answered your question. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, good. I'm glad I answered your question. Okay, so here's a blue. You're just always moving 3 pieces. Okay. Up, up, down, down. When you're working on this one, when you I'm doing the edges last when I'm doing the minxes. I do the centers before I do the outsides. So there's nothing special I have to do. The last three will line themselves up just because of the cubes are inherently honest. So up, up, down, down. So when I get to the last layer, I'm just throwing one piece at a time, but the pieces are lining themselves up. Okay. So I'm going to bring down the red down or the green down. I'm going to have to do both eventually. So let's do the green first. So go up, slide down, slide down. Okay. Itchy on my nose. Here's another piece. Line it up. And I'm going to demonstrate that, again, that this piece is not going to come down here. It's going to come into whichever one of these I use it. Now that doesn't make any difference unless you're making pretty complex patterns on the front, in which case then I would say, which piece do I want to move in here? I want to move this piece in there. So it doesn't matter which direction you turn for the obliques, unless you're working with a pretty pattern, in which case the cube will dictate what you need to do. Here's a red. Got to jump twice. Don't have anything to displace it, so I'm going to just jump it. Up, up, down, down, set the top, and up, up, down, down, set the top. Okay, here's an orange. And I am completely random doing these. You can pick whatever order works for you. I can do one side at a time, one color at a time, or I can do corners and then work towards the inside, depending on how big my pieces are, my cubes are. Okay, here's a blue. I'm just go on the top, line up, 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 down, down. Another piece. Here's a red. Da, 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 da. It goes this way. Line it up. 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 Down. Down. Ta-da! Pow! Everything's wonderful. Okay, I'm going to continue with this one too. Like I said, I can do this. I can do the centers, the Formula A on one side, if I want to. And I'm going to actually, here's two white, so I'm going to do Formula A to move this to the top. So I'm going to treat these as one piece. Out, space comes down, piece comes into the space, and back up again. That's exactly what I would do if I was making boxes. Okay, moves these three around. These three are one piece internally, so that's why okay, and then again, out, down, in, up. And again, out, down, in, up. Okay, so that moved. Here's my whites. I want to move the whites to the top. But this one is already there, so I'm going to keep it there. So this one, been following for almost a year. Oh, thank you. That's how long I've been doing it. So out, down, in, up, and then for this one, bring it under where it wants to be. Out, down, in, up, set the sides, and here's one more. Bring it under where it wants to be. Out, down, in, up, and then reset. So you can do that. The reason why you can do that is the same reason, is that if you're scrambling and you just want to practice your centers, you don't want to mess up your corners or edges, then as a scramble, all you got to do is, as you're scrambling, just make sure your corners stay relative to each other as you're scrambling, and then you can just line up the edges, and you have the corners and edges are not scrambled if you just keep your corners together. So if I go like that, and then like that, then when I can undo it, and I've scrambled some of the centers, but not the rest of the cube. So this one, I'm going to save this one for today's Friday, right? Yeah, I'm going to save this one. I may or may not be here this evening, because I'm going to play Grandma tomorrow. So I may or may not do Zoom this evening and tomorrow, but I think I might be doing Zoom on with my phone, because I just bought a phone stand. So if I'm not going to be away from my computer, but I should be here. I won't be able to do sorry, school bus, I can't do Zoom unless I'm here at this workstation. So all right, so this one's done. Boom. This one, just like I said, just pick a piece, throw it in the direction it wants to be, up, slide up, reverse down, it's at the top. Okay, there's a blue. Okay, up, down, again, up. Thank you. I appreciate the fact that no one was watching me yesterday. I had the chat entirely to myself. Okay, so up, down. It's a completely different show when I can have people I can talk to. Being on the spectrum, I love to be distracted. So up, down. Okay. Here's a green. I'm gonna bring the blue down. Up, down. Here's blue. Up, down. Set the top. Pick another piece. Up, down. There we go. And we're getting there. Line it up, down. Line it up, down. Pac-Man says, yeah, I love to be distracted too, even though I'm supposed to do homework. They actually showed, they've done studies on this, that when you have distractions, it actually increases your ability to study, because you're actually focusing through it. Like people with headaches and without headaches took tests, and those with headaches did better on the test because they were focused more on working through their headache, which you think is counterintuitive. But so when you have a distraction, it's actually so. Oh, another thing. If you're studying for a test, they studied this as well. There's things that click your brain together while you're studying for the test. Chew a specific type of gum, a specific flavor of gum when you're studying, and then when you're taking the test, chew that same flavor of gum, and it triggers the recall better. True story. So if you that's a tool you can use. Okay, my cubes are all done except for this one, and it's time for my kitty cat is glaring at me. She wants me to go feed her. So I'm gonna come back this evening if I'm not on the road, and either this evening or tomorrow, and fix this one. That will be fun. But you won't see my pretty smiley face. You'll just see, because I only have one camera on my phone. So, all right. Thank you for lending me your time. Thank you for spending time with me today. I appreciate you. Makes it more fun for me. And do chat with me anytime you want to. If you have any questions or comments, and yeah, go buy yourself a Whittian 3x9. It's super fun. And if you have problems with it, come back here and I'll show you how you can do it with the ABCube method. Pretty proud of myself. All right, everybody go. Have a wonderful day. Be nice to yourself. Drink water. Walk in the sunshine. And I will be back. I'll see you next time. Bye.